mic that you can actually, you know, talk into. Wait, is this down front? There we go. There we go. Have to kind of position this thing so that I can be close enough to actually, you know, be around it. Okay, so let's see. We're going to try to make some more organized stream than last time, which was, well, not the most fun thing, I think, in terms of if you want to see somebody who actually has some organization. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try. Now I got my layers and everything in the proper place. So we're going to try to do things a little bit more smoothly this time. No guarantees, of course, but we'll try. So let's go ahead and... I'm not going to wait too long this time because people don't seem to join right when it starts anyway, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not really complaining about that. I'm just saying that there isn't really a reason to wait necessarily. So let us go ahead and get our counter coming up here. I do like to have this. It does lend the video itself an air of professionalism that will be sadly missing from the rest of it. So at least something should look, you know, I don't even... Joe draws stuff. Oh, yeah. I couldn't even remember what the third word was. This is how great my memory is. Or how ungreat it is. Or terrible it is, depending on what proper use of English you want to incorporate there. So, yeah. Oh, wow. Geez, somebody viewing right off the top. Well, you got here just in time. Not just in time. Nothing started yet. What am I saying? Just in time. There is nothing to see yet. Okay, so let's see. I always try to get this right so that when we get out of here, boom! Okay. Ooh, not bad. A little smooth. Smoother. Okay, so we're back at our iPod here. I'm going to get this. Why is this window in the way? Can I? Oh, no. What did I hit? Sorry. Hold on. Bear with me. I clicked something stupid. How do I get out of this? Oh, there it is. Hold on. Jeez, unbelievable. How do I get out of... How do I shrink this window back down? What happens if I do that? Oh, okay. All right. I think we're okay. Oh, well, that somehow solved both problems in one. So whatever I did, it worked very well. Okay, so we're on our iPod here. We're going to go ahead and turn off the lime green background because I don't think we need that anymore. Although we probably would like a background. So let's go ahead and... Oh, no. You know what I was going to do? I'm going to do this because I thought of this last time. Let's clean up this white layer. This white layer, as you may be able to tell, has the basic outlines of... the other hand that I've used, which has been the basis of a bunch of these, but I'm going to clean this up. Not that I really think I need the white layer anymore, but I like to have it there just in case. It's actually beneficial for seeing if I missed anything. Now I will just put a little caveat to this particular stream that I may have to stop at points. My wife is out running errands, and on the off chance she has a question or needs help with something, then I will, of course, assist. So if I suddenly say, oh, I'll be right back, that means that my wife is calling me on the phone. So just warning everybody, this may be a little bit more of a stilted stream than usual. So if that happens, don't fret. I will come back. I don't think any of you are fretting anyway. Yeah, look, there's black layers back there too. So I definitely am going to need a background. I'll leave it green because if I do it white, then obviously I can't see some of the stuff I'm erasing. But this is more cleanup than anything because I don't want to accidentally export this image. So, oh no, the black is the shredded skin. So actually that's fine. I don't have to get rid of that. And like I said, this white layer that I'm getting rid of here, I really shouldn't have any need for it anyway. But on the off chance... you know, it does have its benefits sometimes. I don't know that it's going to matter necessarily as much in this particular image because there's not as much color going on here, but when there's a lot of colors, it's very easy to overlook where some of the color bleed is missing. What I'm using the term color bleed for means if the colors aren't all the way to the edge or if some of the colors are, depending on layer, hierarchy, are coming over into another one, it can be very easy to get lost in that. So that's when I can use the white layer or whatever color it is that I'm using. It's not always white, just depends, to be able to identify some of those places to clean them up. Not that it really matters because honestly, I'm looking at things like you are right now. It's such a zoomed in scale. The reality is you're not going to see that type of thing when it's at this scale, right? But I know it's there. And I think if you, at least for me, I don't want to get into the habit of going, well, nobody's really going to see it, so I don't really care, on something that's easy to fix. If we're talking about, if this were being done on paper with pen and ink, and there was some small error that I knew nobody would see, and I was 7 hours into drawing something, would I restart the whole image for the one thing? No. Then I would say, okay, nobody's going to see that. Don't worry about it. That's a different scenario. With this, it's so easy to fix. Why wouldn't I fix it? There's really no good reason not to. Now, this is where we're going to get into a tricky bit. So where's my grayscale here? Gray shadow right there. This I'm going to be very careful with. So, oh, am I on the layer? Oh, no, I'm still in the white layer. Did I actually erase anything? Let me see. Okay, no, I didn't. Good. So here's gray layer. Here we are. Let's actually select the layer. That's kind of valuable. And let's go on with the eraser. And see, this is tricky right here. I'm going to just kind of fudge this more or less, because the reality is in this part, it doesn't matter, right? So here, it's easy to see that the lines are correct. However, in the alternate version where we take off the variable part, right? See now those, see that? So that's going to be there as well. But what I really should do, now that I keep doing this and looking at this, is why do I have, let me see, is there a good reason for me to have the variable pod and this? What is this thing? What is the variable iPod even doing? Oh, it's an empty layer. That's great. Bye. Okay. This, so I named the wrong layer. So this is actually the variable iPod here. So variable, I should say, not variable is the wrong word, but color iPod. Color I, no, not capital I, even though this literally doesn't matter to anybody but me, color iPod. Okay, so now if I turn it off, now we've got the stark white iPod. Whereas if I turn off white and I turn on color, and then turn off this, whoa. Oh, you know why? Because of this. I know why that's happening. See? This is why it's important to get rid of things. Yeah, why? Oh, because I still need the rim. You moron, you still need the rim. Yeah. So basically, color iPod. Yeah, so that's the white iPod. This is I got it, I got it, everybody. Took me a second. But I remembered, and this white I'm getting rid of now is that background layer. So see, this is why you want to get rid of it, because otherwise it could randomly pop up in things. I mean, I probably will end up deleting that layer entirely, but on the off chance I need it, I'm going to leave it in place for now. So I'm just going to do bang, turn that off. And I know what that is, so I don't have to rename it. So there we have our color one, right? And then if we don't want color, we basically turn this off, turn this on for the white color, and then we turn off the color iPod. And that is the quote-unquote classic iPod. So there you have it. Okay, now that we've spent a long time on that, let us go to, okay, I've got that. That's defined, but we are going to give it, let's think about this. Okay. Yeah, okay. I know what I'm going to do here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come into my pen. Is this the right size? It is absolutely not the right size. Let's go here. That's my accent pen, I think. Let's take a look. Absolutely is. So now, okay. Now here's a tricky bit. So let's go ahead, and I really don't need the sketch layer for that. What I'm going to do is, it's always interesting when you're going to get into shading and plastic, because there's lots of ways to handle this. And none of them is correct or not, but I'm working this out in my head. I think what I'm going to do is something like, I'm on a new layer, yes, I am. Let's do something like this. A curve like this. Okay. See, I didn't quite curve it right. That's the trick. Is I really got to follow this close. And then arc it. Okay, not bad. Got it. So we do that. We do a little of this. Okay. Arc is good. It is. And we'll do a little bit more down here. Just a suggestion. Oh yeah, no, see it's too short. It's going to make it straight. All right, so we just got to go careful. There, that one's done by hand. That's a legitimately done by hand one. Not using any machine augmentation on that one, to use a very Deus Ex phrase. Okay, let's see. This is probably curved enough. Yeah, no, that's okay. That's all right. That came up better than I thought. We'll do this one by hand. It's going to be too short. Okay, there we go. So now we got some accent lines that accentuate the curve of the... You know what? I don't like them on the bottom. I'm getting rid of them. I don't like them down there. Isn't... Wait a minute. Let me think about this. You know, that's... No, that's right. That's right. That's right. Although it's not. Now, that bottom curve now is bugging me. So what we're going to do is... We're going to do... That's a what? That's a 25%. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Going to knock that down to 25. We're going to take this thing here. I don't know why I'm slipping into my New York accent, but I am. We're going to take this guy. Okay, let me think about this. Yeah, okay. What we got to do... Yeah, okay, I got it. All right. What we got to do is we're going to make a circle. And I'm not so worried about the circle and where it is at the moment because it's going to change. So there's our circle, right? Now we got to make it a circle. Now it's a circle. Now it ain't exactly a... Jeez, yeah, I am really slipping into my New York here. But that's okay. All right, we're dead center on that guy. Now what we got to do, this is the trick. This is the trick. I mean, it ain't a trick, but what we got to do is move this... Yeah, see, that's what I want, more of that rounding action. But you can tell it ain't even because one side is different than the other. So we got to move this a little bit. See why we got that happening. That's it. I got it. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So now we got to delete. Now this is also going to be a tricky... Oh, no, that's not right because it's not quite even. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Undo the delete. Yeah, good. All right. We're going to stretch this out just a tad. Yeah, that's better. I mean, it really doesn't matter if it's exactly even. Nobody's going to care. Oh, actually, you know what? I helped myself out there. I did something that was actually helpful to myself. Well, sort of. Yeah, I got it. Okay. I got it. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this part because we don't need this. This is all extraneous up here. Yeah. I'm going to zap that down to there. And it really doesn't matter about that either. And you'll see why in a minute. This is not going to be a big deal. Okay, so now what I got to do is I got to max this out for its 100% black. We're going to max this out to 100% black. Now you can see where I'm going with this, right? I mean, you can tell. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this. I'm going to fill this little guy in. I'm going to jump over to here. Don't have to worry about that, right? Now, we knock this. No, don't knock it down yet. I got to fill in the other stuff. This gets filled in. Yep. So there's our shadow layer. Okay. Boop. Gotcha. Keep going. Come around. Fill this guy in with black. Okay, there's our... Yeah, got it. See, that's blacker now. I mean, not blacker. It's all black, but merge down. Now we drop to 25%. And see, now that's more rounded on the bottom. I like that better. I think that looks more like... Oh, I'm a... No, I did it right. Okay, no. I thought I was an idiot, but I'm not. I got it right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is some accent lines on this. And this is what I was talking about that gets tricky, right? Because, I don't know, do I want accent lines or do I want to do kind of the classic sort of, swirly... Because plastic, I always have this thing where I differentiate between plastic and flesh with the lines. So do I want to do something like kind of the classic comic book idea of, shiny plastic where you do this kind of stuff? Actually, not that. But take that. See that's sort of, this is an old school kind of comic idea where with metal or plastic you do these wavy lines. Very common. You go into 90s comics, you see it a lot. Depending on the artist, because illustrating, I don't like it. I don't like that. We're gonna get rid of that. But what I may do instead, maybe I shouldn't do anything. It's tough. It's tough with plastic because you got to kind of work out what you want it to be. And I don't know that there's any... I like the accent lines. I dig those. But man, I think maybe I should leave this pretty... You know what I will do? Okay, here's what I will do. Because I do want to have a little, just a tad more of something in here. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to jump into my ink lines. How big is that? Too big. No, maybe not. I'm going to slice here. I'm going to slice there. And see that, yeah, that is too much. I'm going to go to the other, I'll go to the pen. I want to just leave a little indication of a break in that button. See that? That may not be enough though. The other one was definitely too much, but that may not have been enough. Yeah, that's better, I think. And I'm going to round that just a bit with my finger. Not going for any type of complexity, but just, see, give that little indication of the actual separation of the keys. And since it's under lighting, the light would catch there. So, same thing here. I'm not worried about these being symmetrical. Well, I'd be a liar if I said there wasn't a part of my brain that was worried about them being symmetrical, but I really am not going to worry about that too much. I'm going to let that part go. I'm not going to worry about them even being all that even, which it's amazing to hear myself say that out loud because I generally don't do well at that type of thing. Round the corners, just finger rounding, because again, at this scale, who's going to see it? And that's not to say, well, don't misunderstand that again, that I'm trying to be lazy about details. It's really not what it is. But it is one of those things where you sit there and go, there is that law of diminishing returns to a point where if it's not really going to be obvious in the image, is it worth spending a lot of time worrying about it? And I'm saying there isn't. So, okay, so same thing with these where we're just doing slight indications of the fact that the light source is coming from the bottom and that naturally there would be a light on the separation between the key segments. Now, I'm not going to bother rounding there because we have an accent line there. Now, I should, boy, yeah, no, I'd better do it. I should make that same thing evident here and round a little bit there. And there I preserve my lines and still have my highlighting. Yes. All right. That's probably as much as I need to do with the actual iPod. So now we get back to the fun stuff. Fun. I mean, it's all fun. But that's going to be, so basically, that's fingernails. Okay. Let's get back into the actual meat of the thing. Oh, wait, let me turn the blood back on. Okay, so that's, you know, I may leave that rim on there anyway, even with the white version. I kind of like it. Kind of like the rim. It's because I know it had one, and even though it wouldn't be this obvious from this side, again, this is not, it's not supposed to be one-to-one, so what do I care? And I looking at it now, I kind of like it. It gives a nice little, you know, definition to it. So I think that's ultimately going to be the iPod shape, regardless of whether it's transparent or not. I think that rim's going to stay there because it does kind of look better to me than without. So I think I don't like that as much as I like that. So whatever, I'll work that out later. Okay, so now let's go into our detail lines. I'm not gonna spend this entire stream over analyzing things. I could really easily, shockingly easily, could I spend a lot of time over analyzing things. All right, so this needs to be above the, so I need to put this above the blood layer because this is going to be indications of things that the blood is cascading over, right? So obviously you can see here that there is a line for the screen, but it's semi-transparent. You know, it's covered. So I made the blood. I think the blood is at maybe 75%, 85%, right? So I want you to be able to see some of the stuff, but you would also have some indications within the blood itself that it is going over a non-smooth surface, and so that's where you have things like, say, that. Doesn't have to be anything complicated. Don't go crazy with this type of stuff, but it is good to show that the blood has some kind of interaction with the physicality of whatever you're doing. And, you know, I can kind of do something like this a bit. Little things, little stuff. I am no genius here, so this is what I'm saying. This is all just basic stuff. So, and then on the actual blood itself, you know, you do something like that. And since there's a curve here, we might do something like that. And probably that. You know, this is all just little stuff, little accent pieces. Nothing that's, you know, going to really change much of anything, but just kind of, it indicates that there's an awareness of the physicality of things, right? So you just do these little things. And I mean, geez, these are such simple little accents. They're not even hard. They're not difficult. None of this is difficult. You know, and then something like this, you can kind of like that to see it emphasizes that rounding. Same here. We'll do that. So it gives you that blood drippy thing. So you can see it. Gives it a little bit of texture and life. Makes it feel a little bit alive. You know, you can do something like that. Even if they don't necessarily mean anything, these little accent pieces, they add up. They don't have to be... I'm not going to do one there. I'm going to do one here because that kind of indicates a break in the streams. You know, leave this stuff alone. Maybe do one there. Again, not going overboard, not going crazy with it. Just little things to indicate that the blood is actually encountering a physical... Whoa! Boy, did I go outside the lines there. Hold on. Gotta fix that. I can't leave that alone. Oh, man. I think it's because at one point I resized it. Boy, did I miss those. Woo! Let's switch to the bigger one. Let's make sure we're getting that. Yikes. That's embarrassing. But not really, because I can get rid of it. Okay. Now we're good. We're good. This is the line. Let's go back to my pencil. Pen. Sorry, pen. Okay, here we go. So, here again, just indicating roundness. You know, we just do little things like that. And that. And that. We'll go ahead and do bloop. Oh, I see I missed more red. Pardon me 1 minute. Excuse my mess as I do that. There. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. I know I'm okay. All right, back to here, back to the pen. Okay. Right. So, now we have some more lines. We're going to get a little bit clever with this one. A little bit. That's as clever as I can be. And just do something like that. So that's sort of, I don't really know what that means. But it looks right to my eye. So we're going to do it. You know? Sometimes it doesn't actually matter if the thing actually is functional. It matters whether you like it. And whether it's something that's pleasing to you as the artist. God, it sounds pretentious when I say certain things like that. But it's true. I think, you know, just to be clear about it, I fight this crap too, where I think, you know, I sometimes am not thinking about the fact that not everything has to be accurate. I do that. You know, I have that problem. And it is, you know, you end up becoming too concerned about that as opposed to what actually looks and seems right to you. And I think every creative person has that. I think every creative, you know, I think a lot of people, myself included, when people be like, wow, that's right, I can't, they'll say, it's amazing how quickly you can draw something. I'm like, yeah, but it's garbage. But not to them. You know, and so we all have this thing where we know what the disconnect is between what we as the creators perceive our work to be and what others perceive it to be. You know, I think a lot of times that's taken as, oh, you just can't take a compliment. And it's not really that. It's that I don't see my artwork the way other people see it. I see the flaws. I see nothing but the flaws in many respects. Is when I look at my work, what I'm seeing is not what it ended up being, but what it should have been, if that makes sense. So it's not, I can't take a compliment. It's that people, oh, that's really great looking. And I'm looking at it going, yeah, except for that, and that aren't right, that I could have done this way, or that I couldn't figure out how to do this way. And that ends up dominating, you know, the perception of it. For me, not for other people. Other people like the stuff, which is great, you know, because, sorry, I bumped the mic there. As with most people, it's very easy for me to dispense good advice while not following it. I can very easily say to somebody, you know, yeah, if one person likes your work, then that's a success, man. You did it. But I don't think that way. So Let me jump over to one of my other hands, because I do like to keep my blood color consistent, because, or do I already have blood color there? No, I don't. So let me sample my blood color, right? Let's jump back to here. Okay. Now I've got a new blood layer. A new bloody layer. And we'll go ahead and just do something like this. Obviously not overly concerned with, you know, having it all be perfect, but this is going to live along the bottom. So kind of where those lines are, we'll just do something like that. Not worried about, you know, having it look, the cleanliness of it yet. I'm getting to that. And then we'll do something similar here. Now I will take my pen for this. This is a little bit trickier, and we're going to do a nice arc right there. I'll let Procreate round that arc for me. Okay, and then we're going to do something similar. No, we're not. No, we'll keep it there. We'll make that up there. We'll do this. Bloop. I'll clean that. I'm going to clean all this up later. I'm just kind of marking things for myself. Okay. Yeah, we do want one here. We're going to say, we'll do it across this. Oh, a little lower. Did that a little too high. So we'll put a dark band there. And we will swirl that a little just to break it up. Okay. Do this. Come down here. Let's see. Now we're going to want several dark areas because it's crossing stuff. So we'll go ahead and arc that. Arc that. We're going to do that. This. We'll go ahead and do... no, we're going to leave that. I don't mind that being like that. We're going to do this. Swirl that. We're going to leave all that. We'll do a little bit there. Beep. Done. And, okay, this is going to be interesting. We'll do something like this. And then we'll bring that across there. So, bang, bang. Then we're going to do bang there. And whip right there. We're going to leave that, even though this is, you know, it's not necessarily what it would actually look like, but we're not concerning ourselves with accuracy so much as effect. Accuracy and effect could be very different animals in an image like this. So I'm going for effect, not accuracy. I'm telling you, he intends to defect. People who know what movie that's from, congratulations. Not really a hard one. I don't know if I can quite do that actor's accent correctly, because I think some people just talk in a certain way, but, you know, whatever. Okay, and I'm going to make that. All this down here. Yeah, let's do that. And that. And I'm going to have to obviously transparent this as well. But let's just see. Okay, I think I've got all the dark areas I want to covered. Yes, sorry by the way, I'm looking down and talking. If I'm mumbling a lot, I do apologize. Oh, yeah, let's go ahead and we're gonna make this, no, not like that though. Make this whole drop dark until the very end. Because, oh, you know what? I just thought of that. No, I'm not gonna worry about that. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We're good. We're good. All right, let's clean these edges up. Let's get the edges out so that we can take a look at the transparency aspect. So get that out of there. And we'll do this. I mean, you know, in some ways, this image may be pretty close to done. I mean, I still have to do the accent lines and all that stuff, but in the large sense, this is not that far from being completed. And the small accent stuff, I don't know if I'll stream that necessarily, because a lot of that is I don't know what other phrase there would be, but like henpecking things at the end. But it's not really all that interesting to watch. You know, it's just like, oh, missed a line there, missed a line there, missed a line there, oh, missed a line there. which, you know, I guess some completionists might be entertained by that, but I doubt many people would. Whoops, too much. Because it isn't really. It's less artistry and more maintenance, I guess you would say. So, I don't know if I'll necessarily stream that, but that's okay. I don't think people care about seeing every single aspect of this thing. And I have to get back to my eyeballs. When I started all the art streaming stuff was the eyeballs. I haven't done the jaws for a while because I've been doing this because people seem to respond more to this, which figures. I mean, that's you never think you have an idea for something that's going to be entertaining, and then boy, I am looking down a lot, so I hope I'm not too mumbly. If I am, I'm sorry. I've kind of kicked around the idea of getting a lapel mic in general anyway for some other ideas I had. But it'll probably work good for this since I spend a lot of my time with my head facing downwards because I'm looking at my iPad. So, I don't know. I got to work that out. No, that's okay. That's okay because that's going to go up there. So, yeah, I'm going to get back to the eyeballs. But I haven't been doing Jaws as much because people seem to like the art streams. And I guess I understand why. I mean, Jaws is a stupid gimmick. And I said that right from the beginning. This is a dumb gimmick. So it is going to become a little boring. Because there's, I mean, once you've seen Jaws and then, you know, somebody said, well, play something other than Jaws and make the joke that you started as being a Jaws-only stream and you're not playing Jaws anymore. Which I can appreciate that joke. I can. It's not a bad idea, really. To make it, you know, as if I'm playing Jaws all the time, and or the premise of the channel was I'm playing nothing but Jaws, but I'm not playing Jaws anymore. Very meta, very inside baseball joke. So we'll see. Okay, almost done here with the blood parts. Also, sorry if this is giving anybody vertigo, because this is how I work. This spinning of the canvas stuff. This is how I do it, because I'm a very I simply have to believe. I would have a hard time being convinced that I'm not some form of ADHD or something. I am on, I've said this on the show, I'm on some spectrum of some kind. I just know it. I know it by the way that I missed the spot. React to certain things and don't react to certain things. That I'm somewhere on it. But ADHD would almost certainly be a component of that because I have a very hard time with focus isn't the right word. Keeping my attention on certain things. And isn't it attention deficit disorder? Is that ADHD attention? No, it can't be attention deficit disorder because that's ADD. But I definitely have some kind of thing. What it is, I couldn't tell you. I'm not going to attempt to self-diagnose. I think that's not a great idea. I think doctors exist for reasons. So perhaps I'm wrong. I can also allow that maybe I'm not on anything. But I just really, I mean, Lando, who has his education in psychology and psychiatry, or at least some application thereof, immediately agreed I'm on some kind of thing. So he has some familiarity, even if he's not a practicing psych whateverist. He was definitely educated in that, and so he's not just going off something he read on Wikipedia, let's put it like that, and he immediately said, oh yeah, you're on something. Not on like drugs, like medication, or not medication, but a type of psychology of some kind. And that makes sense to me. So, okay, I think the blood is good. Let's see, did I miss any spots? I do have to drop the transparency on it, which I will do. No, I think I got it all. Okay, so let's drop that transparency to... I think I'll drop that transparency on this to 50%. Yeah, that... Wait, no, maybe I dropped it too much. I can't really see it now. Bring it up to 75 then. Transparencies on transparencies are tricky. Yeah, I like that. That's okay. That gives the enough of an indication that there's a darker part to it without completely obscuring what is under there. Okay. I think that's good. All right, so now let's jump to Let's see, where are my accent lines? Oh, I know they're here. There they are. Let's get back to this. And this, and this, and this. Check size. Yes, sir. We're good. Pen is back in hand. Okay, pen. Here we go, buddy. Let's see how we're going to do this. Well, we'll just start right here. And we'll just start laying in our detail lines. This is extremely monotonous, but it never bores me. It's sort of, I guess, therapeutic in a sense. I don't mind making lines. I've always been kind of good at it. You know, everybody has whatever it is. You tend to have, within an art form, there are aspects or parts of the art form that you're generally better at. For example, when I played the drums many years ago, I have not played the drums in probably 20 years because I was never really that good at it. Not in a way that it made sense to really keep going with it. But I remember that my drum teacher at the time said, "You have really good timing. Keep good time," which apparently is more, you know, and I don't know, but that is one of the tougher aspects of playing the drums. It's being able to keep time. However, that was not enough for me because I could never quite get the coordination down. And this is going to be, I guess, gibberish to anybody who's never played the drums or doesn't know how the drums in general work, but my foot control was never good. I guess that's the only real way to put it. So the coordination between my feet and my hands was never that great. So you're not supposed to, and for those who don't know, brief primer on how drums work. Here, we'll just do an illustrated thing. We'll just break this, right? So a standard way of setting up a drum set is, okay, here's your bass drum. Generally you have some toms. You can have a couple. We'll just do it like that, right? Then you usually have your hi-hat right here that sits. Your bass drum has a pedal right there. Make that black. And then generally you have some cymbals. Different ones depending on what you're doing. This is the ride. I'm making this here the ride cymbal. So these are the hi-hat here and the ride here are what I consider the primary cymbals. Because usually in songs, you're spending a lot of time on one or the other when you're not doing the accent bits. Now, here's where things got tough for me. Anything above this line here, cymbal-wise, hitting, and the snare drum, of course, sorry, snare drum. I was good at that. Oh, I love the ride cymbal. Way more than the hi-hat. Honestly, I'd never use the hi-hat, except you can't use the ride all the time. You have to break it up, so you have to have some variety. Right? So as far as hand coordination with the sticks, these are hands with sticks on arms that are not, obviously, are two different human beings, but whatever, we're pretending they're one. That part was fine. This is where I fell apart, the feet. With the with the hi-hat, you hear, and I can't do it with my mouth, but there's a thing that a lot of drummers will do, and it's a very common element, where the hi-hat is in fact two cymbals that are held together. And I apologize, drummers know this already. But the hi-hat is two cymbals that are held together with a pedal that applies the pressure, so they're either open or closed. And there's a very common thing where you have the stick and you make this sound, and I don't know how to, I can't do it, but it's made by varying this space here with your foot. I could never do that. My feet were either down or they were up. Their ability to move independently of my arms was terrible. And it's a similar thing with the bass drum. Now, the way the bass drum is, so if this is a foot, let's just say this is your foot. Here, I'll give you sandals. I'm talking to myself, right? And here's your drum. There's your bass drum. Here is the pedal that your foot rests on. Now, I'm not going to get this exactly right, but there is then some kind of armature here, and that connects to this thing. This is what this little mallet here is what hits the drum. So, right? So that this mallet, or actually here, let me draw this correctly because this will give you an idea of where my problem was. So when your foot is up, the mallet is back here. Okay, so it's off the drum when there is space here. When you put your foot down, that is what then makes the drum, or the mallet head, or the drum head, whatever this thing is called, the stick thing with the little marshmallow on top, that is what then strikes the drum and creates the bass drum sound. That's what it is. So that's the foot action. Now, the way that at least it was told to me was that what you're supposed to do as a drummer is keep your foot up as you're playing until you're striking something, right? So your action is to put your foot down and then move this. But your foot should be up most of the time. What I always did was I kept my foot down. So I always had the pedal kind of the first way that I had it. So the way my feet would be, my foot would actually be down on the pedals and keep this mallet head on the drum. And that is bad form, or at least that's what it was told to me. And so my timing between, the coordination again between hands and feet, not great. Not great. So I loved playing the drums. I had a fun time doing it. I loved the sound of like certain cymbals. I had crash cymbal. I had like a little ice bell. I had a whole setup for a long time when I had the misguided idea that I might actually be able to be a drummer. And then there was a point where basically the drum teacher's like, okay, you have to understand that you can't, this is not the way to play. And so all that disappeared. I'm not bitter or anything about it. I mean, he was right, because I know what those deficiencies were. And I just knew that it wasn't going to be something I was going to be able to overcome. So, and that's why I can draw things, but I couldn't draw with my feet, because my feet and my hands, they don't coordinate right. So where was I going? Oh, so in other words, so drawing these little lines is essentially the timing of art for me. Whereas other people have different abilities, like working with color really well. And that's their component of the art form that they're great at. So that's fine. Everybody has their different skill. That's why artists have variety. Otherwise, you could literally learn in a school to be the same artist as everybody else. If in fact art was that way, and if art was enjoyed that way, where everything was to be to a standard and a uniform approach, then everybody could go to school and become an artist in 5 minutes and everything would look the same, which is a terrible, miserable future to comprehend. And that's why you can be taught to be an artist to a degree. Somebody can teach you to paint an apple. And once you understand the mechanics of it, you will be able to paint an apple. And that's great. Paint an apple. I mean, there are people who love paintings of apples. You could probably make a good living at just doing competent paintings of apples. But there's a X factor to it. And I'm not saying this as if I'm some kind of secret master of anything. I'm not. But there's something, and some people would regard, and this is why art is such a varied thing, right? So that's why somebody can look at Jackson Pollock and think that it's a magnificent expression of the chaos of life and imagination. And I can look at it and say, yeah, that's somebody who dripped paint on a canvas. But that's the beauty of it, is neither of us are wrong, because both of us are wrong and both of us are right. Crimson Tide. And so that's I quoted 2 submarine movies in the course of this art stream without really planning to. That's extraordinary. And that's what I mean about there are these components, things that, so there are probably people who will look at, if they were to look at this stream and look at this piece of work, they would hate these little lines. They would hate them. They would want the art cleaner. They might actually want it where it looked like this instead, with just the shadows just being expressed in color, and they wouldn't actually like any of these little lines. They would actually say, take the lines out, and it's a really nice piece of work. Where are those other lines at? Yeah, okay, like this. There would be people who would look at this, and they would want it to look like this, as a finished piece, without any of the little accent lines. Those people aren't wrong. That's what they like in art. Whereas I, for whatever reason, am compelled to add all these little lines in there. I could not consider this finished until it has, what am I missing? I forgot one. Oh, there. Without this stuff. To me, I haven't gotten as far as I can with it. And that's what makes art great, is that two people can look at the same thing and see it in such vastly different ways. And I cannot think of a better way to end my stream for this Saturday. So I'm gonna drop here, and I will go ahead and this is pretty much done. I think I just have to do some cleanup, but overall I'm very happy with this. So this is probably close to done. I'm gonna do some stuff to it, but I think this is probably the last this will be on the stream. Maybe not. If I discover that because there is some stuff where I probably have to do some line work or whatever. So this may show up again, but I don't know that I'll be doing a vast amount of work on it, because I think it's pretty much almost where I want it to be. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching wherever you watch this, whenever you watch this. Hope you all have a really wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will be back on the next stream. All right. Have a nice day, everybody.